Israeli sympathizers often ask, what would you have done differently following the October 7th attack if you was the Prime Minister of Israel? As if to say, the actions carried out on that infamous date justify the abhorrent destruction of Gaza and its citizens. Obviously, this is a disingenuous question because if I was the Prime Minister of Israel at the time, I would argue that such an atrocity would not have happened in the first place. Nevertheless, I will try my best to give a comprehensive and honest answer to this ridiculous question. The first thing I would have done, after being parachuted in to replace Bibi Netanyahu, would have been to console the families of those who had lost loved ones and promise them appropriate compensation, and that henceforth I would do everything in my power to prevent a repeat of this tragedy. I would then have issued a formal apology to the Palestinians for the depravity, suffering, and misery inflicted on its people at the hands of Israel and its allies for the past 76 years. I would have condemned the actions of Hamas, but would have also acknowledged that Israel left the Palestinian resistance to occupation no other choice. I would have highlighted Israel's complicity in the ongoing tensions in the region whilst declaring an unwavering commitment to reconciliation and to finding long-lasting peace between our people. To that end, I would have forgone rights to casus belli, the right to retaliate, and would have instead set out a comprehensive proposal to withdraw forces from Palestinian territories based on the pre-1967 war borders. I would have released this statement to the UN and the media with no obfuscation, so the world could bear witness to my declaration and hold me accountable to my word. I would have insisted that this process be arbitrated by an agreed third party, an impartial state, so not Iran, not the US, perhaps India, a people that understand subjugation. As a gesture to my commitment, I would have moved for the immediate recognition of Palestine's statehood in the UN so that their voice could be heard on an equal footing. However, I would have warned that any further escalatory violence would not be tolerated whilst outlining clearly what the response to such actions would be. I would make it so that peace made sense to the Palestinian people. I would have destroyed Hamas, not with violence, but with compassion, understanding, and kindness. Hamas would have been destroyed in the sense that their ideology would eventually become superfluous, unnecessary, and antiquated because there would be no need for resistance in an era of peace. The long game. I wouldn't have focused on the past. That cannot be changed. And after watching both sides continuously talk past each other and point fingers, it seems obvious to me that there is no utility in doing so. People often critique me for being idealistic, but the last thing I would have done is strike back. Because anyone with a brain cell knows that retaliation pushes conflict further up the escalation ladder, which, in a world where countries are armed to the teeth with nuclear weapons that could destroy the world 1,000 times over, seems like abject idiocy. Professor Axelrod proved in his game theory experiments that belligerent actors perform poorly, whilst those who are not aggressors but have shown a willingness and the capability of defending themselves perform best. Now let me be clear. I am not anti-Semitic or anti-Palestinian. I could never understand how it feels to be involved in such a horrific conflict. But what I am is a person that wants to see progression toward a more peaceful world so that all children, no matter where they're born, can feel safe, secure, and optimistic about their future. At some point, someone has to set the example to let the wounds of the past heal. Let's do it for our children. Let's end this war.